Welcome back to the Hoof and Fang podcast. I'm Kirt.
I'm Maz.
Welcome to the office. Mm-hmm. Welcome on your day off.
Yeah.
Your week off.
Mm-hmm.
How's that going?
Pretty good. Yesterday I did nothing productive at all.
Awesome.
So yeah, best kind of Mondays. I didn't do shit.
Good work.
Yeah. But today I've actually been productive. I got up and I wrote for the first time since I finished the wild contract stuff.
Boo.
No, I'm happy.
Boo.
It didn't feel like a chore. It was like, I'm inspired. I want to get to the computer, not like I have to. So I chased the positive feelings.
Okay.
Wrote about 600 words. Hate them. So I'm going to scrap it and redo it, which is great. So I kind of like got the dust off, which is fantastic. Okay. So, but yeah, I was able to get at least back in the flow of writing.
All right.
Yeah. So is that allowed?
Okay. Here, you want my honest answer?
Yeah.
I mean, it's allowed, of course, but like, you're going to start a new job next week.
I know.
Whatever flow you get into, out the window.
You're right.
You should just be relaxing and enjoying your time off. But if you felt moved and you find that relaxing,
yes,
you're crazy, but good for you.
Thank you. But yeah, if it starts turning into like I need to get behind the desk, I'll definitely be like, no, absolutely not.
No.
But no, it's been nice. And like me and Alex started a stupid vampire game that we're playing together, which is mindless and fun, and we get to build a castle together. So it's been great. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a pretty great week off so far. We're 2 days in and I'm like, hell yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you go to a weird thing this weekend? Or is that this upcoming weekend?
It was this past weekend. It was an Oddities Expo.
How was your weird thing?
It was fun. It was a smaller one than what we typically go to because I didn't even hear about this one. This is like a smaller one. I guess it's just like their second year. It was pretty cool. It had some like local vendors and stuff, and it was awesome. We may or may not go again because the ticket price is a little steep for what it was. But the original Oddities one is like $12 and it's like an all day thing. So
nice.
Like the Oddities Expo, 2 thumbs up. This one was like, I'm hoping it grows with like more years under its belt.
Sure.
But yeah, it was good. It was in Milwaukee, so it was fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
How about you? I know your day's been long.
Yeah, no, I've just been recording.
Yeah.
Just trying to get stuff done. Finishing up the Tavia Lark book that I talked about last week. So that's very, very nearly done. I think I'll save the epilogue for tomorrow because I have a feeling after recording, my voice will not be in condition to jump back in and keep going.
Right.
And then I jump into the Brunswick series by Michelle Notaro, I believe.
Excellent.
I say that with like 60% confidence. Okay. Because one, I never really know what's coming up next, and then to also remember the author. Yeah. And so many of these production houses do not send you manuscripts with the cover page on.
Oh, that's annoying.
Which would be so useful just to be able to like see the name as like a visual reminder of who it is that wrote the book. Yeah. So
I guess you'd probably get like Word docs and stuff, so it's just not.
Well, or they send you like a revised PDF. So like if you send in your finished PDF, they'll just like chop off all the front matter and go straight into whatever I need to record.
Gotcha.
Whether that's the dedication or the from the author or whatever it is at the front of the book they actually want you to record, that comes first, and then it goes into the chapters, and then they just chop off any of the front or back matter that doesn't matter.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
So, but yeah, so I think that's who wrote those books.
Yeah.
Sorry if I got that wrong. Sorry if I'm confusing your name with a celebrity.
No, I mean, I recognize the name. I think it's right.
Good.
Like it sounds correct in my brain, but
yeah, it is scary saying things. I just shouldn't say things out loud on this podcast ever.
Yeah, just
because there's a strong chance I'm getting it wrong. But that's up next. So 2 fantasies back to back. Urban fantasy was yours right before that. So we're right in my wheelhouse. We're having fun.
Cool, good. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's just trying to get it all, getting it all in, getting it all done.
Yeah. Fair.
So, so that's all that's going on for work stuff.
Cool.
We did have this week a new episode of Far From Neverland. Those continue to come out every Tuesday.
I'm so into this series, by the way.
Good.
Yeah, I ended up messaging River and was like, by the way, Your book is amazing. I'm hooked, and I'm sorry I have to say that, but like I have to be punny.
I'm hooked.
She's like, yes, thumbs up.
She's
good.
like, yes, that's
what I expect you to say. Yeah.
That's what we do here.
Yeah.
Also, Animorphs number 46, The Deception, will come out on Wednesday. We're getting so close to the end.
Yes.
We have goes 54 regular books. We're on 46. And
the next one,
Chronicles.
Yeah, I think the next one is the Chronicles one, if I'm not crazy. Right?
No. It's 47, and then the Chronicles come after 47.
Okay. Just kidding.
Save the Vampire work in progress chapters are still coming out every Friday. Enjoy those while they last, because the book comes out on Halloween, which is right around the corner. And then the early shift comes out every Monday, usually. Unless, one of us doesn't have to be in here for any good reason.
Unless Maz wants to sleep in on Monday.
There's no reason for that. So that'll be back when presumably you're back in the office next week.
Yeah, exactly.
And hopefully you have time to do that, because we don't know what your new schedule is going to be like.
I'm thinking 9 to 5, so it shouldn't interrupt our morning stuff. So we'll
see.
Figure it out.
We'll see. Yeah. So stay tuned. We'll see how that goes. But today I thought we would just have a quick, easy breezy conversation.
Okay.
About the future of indie publishing.
Quick and easy, low stakes.
Low stakes. Nothing really to fret about.
Yeah.
But with so much change going on, and like things on the horizon are changing in life, it's also like, well, what is life going to be like moving forward for any of us, really?
Right.
So what do you think indie publishing is going to be like in 5 years?
Man, I don't know. It's tough because it seems like each year, especially within the romance genre, because that's what I'm the most familiar with, it's just getting bigger, and that's great because people have more variety and more things, but they're just, I think jumping in now as an indie would be so hard because it's changed so much just within the 6 years I've been doing this.
Yeah.
Like it must feel impossible, like it's just screaming at the void, because you've got to manage so many things, and especially with like book talk being like the thing, and you have to you almost have to also be a content creator successfully to make it as any sort of anything, it feels like these days, like even with artists and, especially authors and stuff, there's just so much you have to do to get in front of people now. It feels crazy daunting. So it's really hard for me to not be pessimistic, I guess, about it, because I keep seeing this as like, how in the world are people supposed to keep up with so much shit that you have to juggle and also produce your art? Like, it just seems dire. Like, it sounds scary.
Don't you hope,
now.
Though, that I think it's inevitable that at some point the glut will have to be cast off.
I would hope so.
Because ultimately what people are looking for is really great stories. And so if you get people who are jumping into the market who just, people who have been writing for a long time and have been a successful part of this market, if they suddenly find themselves unable to keep up with the quality of other writers or the new writers that are coming in, or new writers are joining and they don't have the established quality of some of the existing authors, like one way or another, people are going to start kind of falling out of the market because, if the demand is met, then anything that's extra just kind of goes away.
Right.
And it does seem like there are like 12 new baby authors every day joining the market. The simple truth is they cannot all survive.
Yeah.
They cannot all thrive. And perhaps for some of them, it is simply something they love to do, and they're willing to make the investment in the books and the covers and maybe sometimes audiobooks. And they're just really not concerned about how many people
and that's great.
Buy the books. Maybe that's not a factor for them, and they just keep doing it because they love it. But I think just basic market realities is that some of these people just aren't going to make it, because we've definitely saturated the market.
Yeah. It's very full right now.
Yeah.
So it's
So at some point, I think the writing has to win out, just being good at what you do, because you talk about having to be a social media person too. The lovely thing about Book Talk is that it really has democratized like talking about these books, because if you write a great book that people really enjoy, they start talking about it on Book Talk.
Right.
That is sort of its own ecosystem now.
Yeah.
That if you get in front of people who that is what they do and not also writing a book.
Yeah.
Then they can be your champions.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
so I still think ultimately it has to come down to the craft, and people who can't hack it, they'll go away.
Yeah.
And yes, it's just like a super popular thing right now to be writing romance in the indie market. And particularly in romance, there's just a lot of new people all the time.
Yeah.
And I say welcome, like,
oh, for sure.
enter the arena, see how it goes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you write one book and it goes nowhere, you still wrote a fucking book.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So like,
it's still something to champion and be proud of. So even if it's not something you can make into your day job, I mean, hell, I'm not doing it full time. You know what I mean? Like, but it's still something I enjoy doing, and it makes me a little bit of money. So you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't want people to listen to this and be like, oh, it's saturated, I shouldn't try it. No, do it, man, because you never know. You could be like, you could sell nothing, but still have your tiny little fan base who adores you, or you just put it out there for yourself. I mean, first and foremost, you should always try to make it for yourself. But I also understand you got to pay bills, right? So, but yeah, it's I don't know, hard to not be on the pessimistic side. But to your point, I think after a while, some of it will just be purged out, and we'll swing the other direction. And it'll be, you know, the status quo, and it won't be so bad. But I think just naturally, it's just always going to hopefully keep growing. I think that's good for the market, but it just makes it harder for people to kind of get in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So
I do predict there will come a time, and within 5 years, when fewer people are entering the space.
Yeah.
They will see that, like, ooh, this one's saturated.
Yeah.
Where else could I go to? Because I'm sure that's a motivating factor for some people.
It's got to be,
right? I think for some people, they write romance because it's a passion and it's what they really want to do. I think for some people, it's because they see that the market is booming.
Right.
There's a lot of customers there. There's a lot of really passionate readers. And so they write an story.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and then they see how that goes. So those, I guess, if I'm calling people out, those are the people I hope fall off.
Yeah.
The people who are there just for the opportunity.
Right.
Who,
and a paycheck.
You know.
Yeah. This isn't something that speaks from their soul or from their heart, or that it really, really matters to them. I've unfortunately met people who, you know, typically write MF, and they segue into this because they're like, oh, it's a new market and I can do that easy. I'm like, can you though? Like, because it's not the same. And I don't appreciate you taking up space, but, you know, I don't want to be an ass. But that's how I feel about it.
Right. Yeah.
So
I think we'll have some relief. I think that also means that, like, probably the market won't be as hot, but that's okay.
It's fine.
It's okay being our little niche, our little niche, Jesus, our little niche in the market.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Good point. It'll even out. So I'm going to be optimistic that within 5 years, it'll chill out and be kind of more of a niche independent thing that's not booming and explosive. But, you know, I don't want it to also shrink too much to where we're not, you know, it dies off, but I don't think it'll ever get to that point.
No,
not in this climate, not anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think readers will continue to come to the genre. But I do think we'll lose some because the market is so saturated, and I believe the quality cannot stay at a high level.
No, not with
this many human beings writing books.
Mm-hmm.
Just on the law of averages, you're going to have more in the mix that could be somebody's first shot at the genre.
Yeah.
That would not be great. And then they don't come in.
Right.
So
yeah,
we'll see.
Okay.
Audiobook narration in 5 years. I hope.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's, what do you think?
I hope it's still humans doing most of them.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, the 5-year forecast may be that a lot of people are trying out AI voices.
Yeah.
And my hope is that in 10 years, we've backtracked to human voices because people will have realized it's just not good enough.
Yeah. I think that's a realistic flow of how it's going to go, because the AI stuff is new. A lot of people, even now, don't really understand the negative impact.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for context, my mother just figured out what, like, Midjourney and stuff is, and she's been sending me fun little AI things through Facebook Messenger. I guess you can do it on Facebook now. She's never even heard of this stuff. until like yesterday.
Sure.
And it's hilarious because I've been steeped in it since it came out. Like I've been rallying against robot made art for months, or I guess at this point over a year or
years.
Yeah, years. I was like, time doesn't make sense to me anymore. So when my mom is sending me garbage AI generated dinosaurs, just thinking it's the coolest thing, and I'm like, I don't have the spoons to explain to you what this is and like why I'm against it. So I think a lot of people in this space, indie authors and stuff, they don't realize honestly how shitty it is, and so they'll see it as an opportunity to further their business. And then unfortunately, when you have very passionate people going to them being like, hey, it's wrong, don't do that, they usually just double down, which sucks.
Yeah.
Like people, their knee jerk is never, well, I won't say never, it's sometimes not. And I like, oh, you're right, let me self-correct. It's usually like, you're gatekeeping or some stupid crap.
Right.
So yeah, I think because this technology is new and people just honestly either refuse or just can't understand that it's literally taking jobs away from people, it will boom
and
for a
it
little
stole
bit.
all of our voices.
Yeah, and it stole your
learned
voices
from a bunch of content that it didn't pay for.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
still not good enough to do something like change accents in a book.
right. Yeah.
You know?
It's not good.
It still pronounces words incorrectly because it doesn't know, often based on context, the way a word should be said if it's an onomatopoeia. Oh God, end of the day.
Simile or something?
Yeah, well, it's just a word that's spelled the same but sounds different. A homophone.
Yeah, there you go.
Homophone. You know, it's still just going to get those things wrong, and you still need a human being somewhere to fix all those things.
Yeah, exactly.
And so every product they roll out, it's like, well, but you know, narrators, then you can do your own voice, and then you can be in charge of that editing process. It's like, this does not appeal to me.
No.
I do not want my voice reading a story that, one, it didn't sell well enough for them to just hire me to narrate it. Because that may, not always, but it may speak to the quality of the story of the book in the first place.
Right.
I also don't want a shitty version of an audiobook with my voice in it.
Right.
Because that's what it will be. It will be a shitty version of me reading the book.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
why that benefits you not?
Right.
Like,
and I don't want to spend my time going through and listening to see what went wrong and then fixing it.
Yeah, you could,
that's not fun.
Yeah,
that's not the fun part of my job.
Right, the craft. You don't get to do your
You've
craft.
removed the one fun part of my job.
Yeah,
which is the actual performance, the reading.
Right.
That's the one fun part, and they're proposing taking it away. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people are going to fall for it.
Yeah.
Including narrators. I think narrators will see this as like, oh, it's an opportunity, and like,
yeah,
I can put my voice in front of more people, and it's like, shut up, don't do that.
Yeah, no. Bad.
Right.
Like rolled up piece of newspaper, hit him.
There's no such thing as something that like benefits one of us if it's hurting any of us.
Right.
Agreed. Like,
yeah,
just don't do it. So, but I think we're moving in that direction. I hope in 10 years we swing back the other way and human voices are once again the thing. And we realize that yes, this technology can be wonderful.
Yeah.
In some contexts. But it's not for making art.
No, it needs to be a tool to help the artist, not to replace them.
Yeah.
And right now it's just not that, and it sucks.
No, it's just being commercialized in a really gross way.
Yeah, it really is.
Unfortunately, I also think that audiobooks will probably end up going the way of like Spotify or Amazon Unlimited.
Oh, yeah.
I just see on the horizon there's going to be an Audible plan where instead of getting a credit every month, you can listen to whatever you want. And however many minutes of that you listen to gets broken down, and whatever percentage of minutes listened will end up going back to the artists.
It's going to be bad.
It will suck.
Yeah, it'll be bad.
For everybody.
Yeah, because that's what Kindle Unlimited is right now. Like we just make less than a penny on the dollar, like just nothing. And it sucks. And it stacks up once you had a certain number of books and stuff. So, but audiobooks, they're just going to make that awful.
Yeah.
So,
oof. So unfortunately, I just think subscription-based unlimited content is the way of the future. And all we can do is hope that they charge accordingly and reimburse accordingly.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
This is, man, I hate that so far these topics have been bleak.
Well,
that's kind of how it feels.
The
future.
You know? Do you think in 5 to 10 years there's still going to be a place for old dinosaurs like us?
Man, I hope so. Like, I want to keep writing. I want to keep making stories. I mean, even though the hip new thing's going to be robots doing it, I really hope that it's still platformed as a human craft, both in writing and narrating. But, I think with the AI stuff, I'm trying to be optimistic that it's more of a fad. Like right now it's being pushed so hard by these tech companies, but I mean, I've been seeing other things about how this stuff just really is not making them money. So I wonder So I'm really hoping that it's going to be pushed and then they realize it's not profitable and it just slowly gets walked back, or it just kind of goes the way of NFTs to where it just crashes and burns and goes away. And I think there are going to be certain things that stick around, like the generated art and like narrating stuff, but maybe not in a professional sense, like professionals using it for their audiobooks, like just for fun TikTok-y things or whatever. But I don't know. It's the, like, I've heard, the Pandora's box has been open. Like, it's out. People are using it now. But I think it can't be terribly lucrative for the companies making it. So I'm hoping it just kind of, and then we can just go back to status quo. But
that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good way to feel. I think I got in early enough that if I want to hustle, I can still be doing this until I retire.
Yeah.
But it's also very easy to see a future where enough people embrace the AI model that it pushes some of us out.
Yeah. And that would be rough.
Yeah. And then it would be like, is it worth it to like scrape, to get by when, at that point, I could very easily see myself in 5 years having a part-time job.
Yeah.
Doing that and then doing audiobooks when they're available.
Or like, or having to go back to being like a grind. Like, okay, you're narrating books from this time, but then the other times you're like making TikToks or you're pushing social or you're doing takeovers or you're just like trying to do like the hardcore marketing.
Right.
That at this point, I think neither one of us have the spoons to do anymore. Like I don't do Facebook jump things anymore. I don't do any of that shit. I just cannot. I burned myself out years ago doing that shit. So if it got to the point where I had to start doing that again, dude, no, I just couldn't do it. So yeah.
No, thank you.
No thanks.
No, thank you. And that is part of the problem with that is that like newer, hungrier people who have more energy will buy into that.
Yeah.
And those of us who've been around a while will be like, I don't want to do that anymore.
No.
I've earned my clout.
Yeah.
I have a reputation. I have a catalog that you can look to.
Yeah, exactly.
And if that's not enough to get a job, well then maybe I'll go work at Barnes and Noble for as long as they exist.
Yeah, no shit. You want to talk about another thing that's like, ooh.
So, yeah. We sort of touched on it already, but like, will it be a place where new people can enter the market?
Yeah, I mean, I think they always will, but to the earlier point, I think a lot of them will probably wash out, especially right now because it is so just oversaturated and loud, and it's just really my heart goes out to the people who genuinely love the genre and are trying to get into it because it's something they love, and they have to do everything right now. I was overwhelmed with just figuring out Facebook stuff and doing a newsletter, and that was 6 years ago. Like if I was entering now and had to do the content creating shit, no. I mean, absolutely not. But I also think like I probably would have been that joker who was like, oh, hey, AI voices, that's neat, because I just didn't understand what it meant. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So
that's neat.
That's neat.
No, it's true.
Yeah, it sounds.
It is neat.
It's very cool.
That's part of the reason it's gaining popularity. Is like it looks cool.
Yeah.
And in short bursts, it sounds good.
Yeah. And then you peel back the curtain and go like, oh my God. Yeah. Hopefully you go, oh my God, and don't come back to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think whether or not new people will be able to enter narration really will depend on how many of us sell out and sell our voices to be synthesized for audiobooks.
Yeah.
Because the only reason new people can enter the industry is because we can't physically narrate all of the books.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
once, and truly, honestly, I think my industry sort of has a saturation point when it comes to white cis female narrators.
Right.
There is a glut. There are far more of them than there are male narrators, and they are fighting for work.
Yeah.
And I think when people fall out, it's those people who fall out of the market.
Right.
But if we are then selling our voices so that even a book we don't have time to narrate, somebody can just buy our voice, and then the voice narrates the book through a computer, then that leaves no opportunity for the people behind us. So I just think, like, what am I doing to try to make sure that people can come up behind me in this industry is continue to say, no AI, do not sell your voice.
Right.
Do not buy into any argument that there's a way to do it ethically or responsibly. Because no matter how it might benefit you financially,
right,
there is no way to do this in such a way that it would still allow other people to come into the market.
Yeah, it's a great
because
point.
What you are doing is making your voice infinite. You're taking time out of the equation.
Yeah. Ooh.
And then that just erases the rungs of the ladder behind you.
Yeah. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Oof.
And I mean, it's already happening. I know some people in my industry are doing it. They're happy to do it. They're championing it. They're saying, like, here's the ways you can do it well, and it doesn't sound that bad. And it's like, no, it's not about the final product, and it's not about whether or not you get paid.
Yeah, no shit.
It's about the fact that the only way this industry continues with human narrators is if we allow new ones to come in every now and again.
Yeah, no shit.
And you're erasing those opportunities.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like, the same reason new indie authors can come into the market is because there's a demand that they are meeting.
Yeah.
And then once that demand is filled, some of them will start to fall off.
Yeah, exactly.
But if AI started writing books,
I mean, we're seeing that a little bit. It's
a little bit.
It's not the same as like what's going on in the narrator world.
It's not being pushed in the same way.
Yeah.
But if it was, and people were like, well, no, here's how you can use AI to, like, make your writing better. And then you can get like 12 books done a month. And then, quantity.
Yeah.
Well, then, where would somebody new come in? Where would they get a foothold in the market? Where would they find fans? If you're giving them 12 books a month to choose from, when are they ever going to go try a new author?
Right. Exactly.
So
it's a good point. I mean, especially because we, on the the author side, pushing out as many books as possible is kind of still championed big time. Like, I write maybe 3 books a year, but I have colleagues who write 12 books a month or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, just an insane amount of words, and they do it through dictation and other actual ways that they can craft very quickly.
Right.
But yeah, if you put the power of AI behind it, and now you're just anybody can write that level. I mean, I would imagine most of it's going to be garbage, but
the more people who teach it, the better it will get.
Exactly.
I think it eventually will be homogenous. It could be of a high quality, but it will be homogenous.
Yeah.
Every book will read pretty much the same. Because I think there are probably AI tools in writing that could be useful, especially when it comes to like picky things like grammar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that would be helpful.
More AI that can help you construct a sentence.
Yeah.
The way that a certain style book says you're supposed to do it.
Right.
Like, click the style book you're supposed to match. I think of my husband in academic writing. Like, there are ways that could be really useful.
Yeah.
And allow the writer to focus on the topic or the story that they're trying to tell more than trying to get all those little details correct, which I don't think is the more important aspect of writing.
No.
So, like, there could be really useful tools, and people who are prolific writers could get more out per month.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be doing the work for them.
Exactly. It would be tightening things up, polishing it in like technical ways, but the heart of the story will still be a person, person crafted.
Right. I think, like, in narration, one way I wish somebody would use AI to do this. You know how we have to do pickups?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be nice if instead of a pickup, the computer could just learn from like the 6, 8, 12, 15 hours that we've already narrated for the whole book and just like fix the word?
Yeah, flip things for you or whatever.
Just stitch it the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
Instead of coming up with a sentence whole cloth, it's just like insert the proper word and make it work with the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That'd be
so
great.
I don't have to do a pickup.
Yeah.
You know?
That would
that could streamline it.
Big time. Yeah.
You know?
That would be amazing. Somebody do that.
I would really need to trust the company because they would be learning from my voice.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. But see, that's a good tool. Like, I feel like that would be something that they could package and sell to narrators and still make a profit, and it still helps everybody instead of just ripping work away.
Right. Yeah. So, and even like the pickups process is very much like the editing process.
Yeah.
Like AI tools that can help you find the mistakes and help you fix them.
Yeah.
But not do the work for you.
Right.
Great. Yeah.
That would be great.
Make work more efficient, but still champion the artist. Still have it be the artist doing the job.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, well, that was a cheery conversation about the future. Is there anything in the future you're looking forward to?
I don't know. I mean, now my head's in oh my God. But I am seeing more, like independent book box things opening up. I'm still seeing like indie authors and indie bookstores and like all things indie still is on the rise. So I'm hoping that will keep moving in a positive direction because I love that. 6 years ago, we didn't have as many like cool independent bookish things available. Like the fandom has really branched out and created all these cool little pockets of industry that weren't around, and it just keeps getting better. Right. So I think that those are extra platforms for audiobooks and authors and everything. So I'm optimistic that the fan base will continue to give us opportunities to platform our work or to give us different avenues to reach people. So that's a good thing. I love that. I love seeing these little businesses popping up around selling like fandom made things and stuff like that. So that's really dope. I love that.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first thing that can that's in the forefront of my mind is I'm seeing that's growing a little bit. So
yeah, I would love to see the technology continue to improve, especially in the world of like reducing noise.
Yeah.
Because like right now I rent an office and I have a very expensive sound booth with a very expensive microphone.
Yeah.
With software that I have to pay for month after goddamn month.
Of course.
And like, I could see a world where like the technology has gotten so good that like maybe you have an expensive microphone, but it doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like, yeah, I could be traveling, I could be in a hotel room and I could record a few chapters. And because of technology, it wouldn't sound like I'm in a different place.
Yeah.
And like I could be like, you could truly be portable, like a really portable setup. Like as much as my booth like comes apart and I could move it somewhere else.
Yeah.
We wouldn't call that portable.
Yeah,
I'm not taking it with me on vacation.
No.
To get a few hours of work done in the morning.
Right.
That's not my life. But I think it could be. Like I think that, that sort of technology and ability to augment sound is probably not too far off.
I would hope so.
And then maybe like when I'm on vacation, I don't have to skip work.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just do a few hours in the morning and then go enjoy the rest of my day somewhere else.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
So yeah, I mean, I think there are things to look forward to. And technology evolving in a way that's useful to the artist is one thing that we can hopefully see evolving as the focus of that technology in the coming years.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's also a lot to worry about and there's a lot to be aware of as artists and as consumers. So, yeah. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on these topics. If you've interacted with authors or narrators who are dealing with these things, anything you've gleaned from them. If you are an author or narrator, what you're learning about or thinking about the future. Yeah, let us know in the comments. And otherwise, make sure you're following us on social media. You can check out our website at hoofandfangpodcast.com, where you can also get the link to our Patreon, where all of those cool things we talked about earlier are happening every week.
Yep.
And we will be back in your feed next week, Friday.
Yep. See you then.
Bye.